A peer is sort of a generic name for somebody living with mental illness, addiction, or trauma. So I have bipolar disorder, so that makes me a peer to somebody else that has, mental illness. I'm their peer. So a peer supporter, sort of an extension of that. I'm using my lived experience to support you in your journey, hopefully to recovery, so that we can sort of work together. I can lead the way. I have been where you need to go, so I'm sort of your guide. So it's literal peer support because we're equals. It's power neutral.
There are many, many pathways to recovery, and my path may not be someone else's path. But if I can give them enough courage and empower them enough, then they have the ability to find what the path is they need, and that's the whole thing. It's not about me anymore. It's about someone else.
When I had gotten the job at the Peer Center as peer support, my mom was like, "Deidre, like, why do you want to do that? Isn't that depressing? Isn't that sad? Isn't that hard? And I guess I could see from her perspective like how it would seem like that. But I was like, Mom, this is amazing. Like, this is like amazing work we're doing when, you can help somebody to get past that spot. And it's not even like the big, the huge like instant recovery or like that. It's just like the little steps. I mean, somebody can say, hey, I was like thinking about drinking yesterday and I appreciate your talk, and it kind of helped me stay on track.
It may be a person out there who's going through what we've gone through, either have an addiction or a mental health problem or do diagnose that someone who's been through their shoes or who's been where they're at, who can actually assist that person to a recovery or to a good start in recovery, and someone just I guess you can a person that you could just see who's doing good and you can kind of relate to that person.
There's no one size fits all in this department, in this peer support venture here. Everybody has a different road to recovery, and it's up to peers to assist those individuals to find their own path to recovery. So that's first and foremost.
I don't know if I had any preconceived notions because we were so new that we just kind of built it from the beginning, and we offered the different groups at the center, and we just do kind of group peer support, one-on-one peer support, just kind of having positive social interactions with people, just kind of keeping things, recovery focused and positive and things like that. So
another nice thing that has been added to our plate that we're doing now is the folks that we do take off grounds on the forensic units, we're going to their treatment teams. And we weren't doing that before, and we're reporting to the treatment teams, the things that we're talking about and their recovery and their goals. And, that's real important because the patients actually, come to us and say, hey, you are going to be at my treatment team, aren't you? Because we're there to give them some extra support that they weren't getting before. So we're real excited about being part of the treatment teams now.
We tell our story, and we tell them that it gets better, and we keep doing what we're doing, and we don't let it stop us. We find people who understand what lived experience is. We find individuals who want to teach us how to make an impact at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, by sharing their story, by talking about what mental health or addiction services that they've experienced that have helped them in their recovery. We talk about how recovery is possible, and that recovery is not easy, but it's possible, and that it doesn't happen overnight. But there are people that want to help. There are resources out there, and we just help each other. And that's probably the most important thing for me, is that I had other peers help me. And so I keep up my recovery by helping others in return, by visiting peer centers, by volunteering to talk with other parents who are dealing with mental health issues, and to just tell my story.
some folks try to make peer support what it's not, and that's a big mistake. If anybody's advocating that peer support is going to replace therapy, that's a mistake. If somebody advocates that peer support is going to replace medication, that's a mistake. That's not what peer support's for. We need to excel at what we're for and let other people excel at what they're for.
When I'm working with a new peer, it's more about establishing that trust relationship than anything else. Because, with peers that you've previously worked with, obviously at some point you've established that trusting relationship to where they feel comfortable enough to open up and talk to you. You feel comfortable enough to share little tidbits of your recovery story with them. And so, when you're working with someone new, you go slow. You're not going to overwhelm them and, hey, I'm Jess, this is my, this is what's happened to me in my life, and I understand exactly where you're at. No, it's all about them. And I think that it should be all about them, because we're ultimately there to help our fellow peers.